from MSN. Spotify introduces face scanning age checks for UK users as some furious fans threaten to return to piracy. So here's what I think is happening. I think that woke has been routed and we've pushed it back, and you're seeing now like the Sydney Sweeney ad plus that Dunkin' Donut. Was it Dunkin' Donuts?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Where he's like, I got good genes, and everyone's like, it's racist. But here's what I think's happening. The powers that be, whether, the international interests of the corporations, I imagine that they got together and said, guys, this cultural force, using racism and stuff didn't work in getting people to controlled. Let's give baby their bottle, but we are then going to go to the conservative woke route, which is, won't you think about the children? We have to protect the children. We have no choice. So then they pass these bills saying, if you're going to buy porn, you need an ID. And we all agree with it. Like, yeah, of course. No one should. I agree with that. Then they say, oh, okay. Oh, and by the way, it means anything that is ever considered explicit now requires a face scan and ID. So now Spotify is face scanning people. What happens next? This is worse than woke. It's one thing if you said a naughty word on the internet and got banned from that platform, but you weren't banned from the other platform. Sometimes they did collude. What's happening now is social credit scores are starting to pop up through these kinds of systems, and we're seeing it happening in the UK. And I will tell you, they're the canary in the coal mine. That's the country where they were arresting people and are arresting people for speech. We can claim cultural victories, but we've had these laws passed at state level that we've largely agreed with. Like, hey, it's a good thing that
because of
kids,
Pornhub being banned.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now what's happening is they're going to go, Visa and MasterCard have banned something around, what is it, like 20,000 games? And the argument is, oh, but it's because they're porn. Apparently many of them, thousands maybe, weren't even porn. It was just adult-themed games, perhaps like GTA, which was the target of this. They're going to go through payment processors. They've always tried debanking. We may have won on some cultural grounds where what we describe as woke has been pushed back, but the censorship industrial complex is just trying to find new ways to control what we can think, what we can see, and what we can purchase.
And now YouTube's going the age verification route with 18 plus right after they suddenly started pushing shorts heavily, meaning that kids are the ones who spend hours a day glued to their phone looking at shorts. It's
going to destroy most independent creators. When they age, get your content, your views drop by something like 60, 70%. And it's not because the video is being served to children and they're saying, no, you kids, you can't watch this. It's because people don't sign up. And if you're not signed up, you can't watch content they deem to be age inappropriate. That means the front page of YouTube is going to be Mr. Beast and nothing else. There's going to be 5 big shows that are approved by YouTube. That means news and politics will be gated. And that means the average person will not be able to watch shows about politics. And that's exactly what they want. They want you to go back to sleep, America. Your government is in control once again.
Yeah,
Here's American Gladiators. Here's 40 channels of it.
No, I think these are all great points. I'm just making the point that our political freedom only goes as far as our economic freedom. And so we are still really, early on in Trump's second term. And so if home ownership rates start to go up and M&A activity has already picked up and IPO activity is starting to uptick and things are on the uptrend, then I would say that that's definitely a move in the right direction from where we are. Because if you don't have your economy, you have nothing. You don't have opportunity. I mean, that's what makes us Americans. That's the lifeblood of our society is our innovation. And so, and I think it's too early to really make a call there on Trump's second term.
How do you feel things have been done with the tariffs? I know that's been a conversation that's come back up the last couple of days. Do you think the tariffs were a good idea?
I do. I think we're bringing in a lot of revenue so far in the tariffs, and I think he's winning there, and I think it's kind of allowed us to take control back on the global stage. I think it's too early to say because we have to see if the GOP is really going to follow up the big beautiful bill with some with more rescissions packages to try to get the debt under control, and if that's going to be a starting point or an end point. I'm just making the case that I think it's too early into a second term to call it a W or an L yet.
I think that's also has to do with the life cycle of the news being if you're on the internet a lot and you're just blasted with news every single day, like not as much time has passed as people feel because what is actually 6 months feels like 10 years sometimes because you're reading nonstop news every day. But the tariffs was one of the funniest examples to me of like, when you hear about like I support the current thing was like I saw signs in local businesses talking about tariffs, and I was like, you just know that the people who read those, like they had to look up what a tariff was just to make sure that they were on the right side of whatever the issue was to the people that they're fighting with.
Like explained in pop terms.
Yeah,
I want
exactly.
to add to what we were talking about with YouTube. Users on YouTube who believe that their AI age verification system is incorrect are supposed to verify their age by uploading a government ID or a
That
selfie.
they'll have
It all
permanently.
goes into their database.
And then you're going to start getting weird emails for services and stuff, and you're going to be like, oh, why are they messaging me? How did they get my email? How do they know who I am? And Google's going to use it to train their AI.
Yep.
And then the machine will know your face. See, the thing is, I've said this. In the real world, if you go to an adult bookstore, you show your ID, right? So why would we let kids on the internet do whatever they want, like on X? The difference with the internet is they're telling you to upload your personal information permanently. And so they're going to have your stuff on file. And then, you know what this is? It's problem, reaction, solution. They're going to come back and say, okay, you're right. That is bad. We're going to have a third-party company will assure us that you're verified, so we will never hold your data. The third-party company can then ban you for naughty words. And then when you go to the grocery store and you're like, yeah, here's my groceries, they'll be like, yeah, just, scan your credit card right there. You'll tap it and it'll say, bam, banned. And they'll be like, we use age verification, third-party app. And they're saying that you're a banned user, so we can't verify with them. And that's what we use. Sorry, you can't shop here.
And the third party is Palantir.
Yep.
Oh, snap.
Just
gotta buy
consolidated all of the data about American citizens that existed in each individual federal department, which is just yet another disappointment that I've
So you're
had.
saying I got to buy some
administration.
Palantir stock.
First thing I did after that first Palantir story was to buy Palantir stock.
I told you guys this story that Ian, he busted into my. So when I had the studio in the front of the castle, like when we first, this is like 5 years ago. Yeah, it was like 5 years ago. Ian slams the door open like Kramer, and he's like, "Dude, you got to invest in Palantir right now." I think it was at like $14.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
it's at
far
150
ahead.
now. And I was like, why? I've heard of it. I don't know. And he's like, dude, it's like this government like database tracking like prediction stuff, and it's going to be huge. And I was like, I don't know, Ian, this is crazy. What are you talking about? I'm buying Palantir. And so I didn't. But then I remember one day Ian was like, dude, graphene. And I'm like, okay, you know what, Ian? I'm buying a bunch of graphene stock. And so I looked up companies that make graphene products, and I bought stock, and I made like $100,000. Yeah, I'm not kidding.
He's a seer.
I don't know, man. Like, but he sounds crazy, so nobody wants to believe him. He looks crazy.
That's his struggle.
Yeah.
You know, the problem is if it looks crazy and walks crazy, the chances are it's crazy. But then Ian's actually right, so you know.
Also, this is like Spotify is introducing age checks. Why? Because of like parental advisory music?
They could. These companies could literally just say, we have the principal service, and if you want anything deemed explicit, you can then opt for that, right? So if you go on Spotify and you want to listen to like Eazy-E as he raps about injuring LGBTQ people with pistols in their genitals, which he did, maybe you just need to say, I want to listen to explicit content, and they say, okay, you got to prove you are. The problem then is they're creating databases. But the point I'm making is they're not doing that. They're just saying everybody, no matter what, needs to face scan and verify because they want your data. These big tech companies are like, oh, no, I guess we have no choice. They collect your data, and now they can sell it.
But Tim, there was a vibe shift, and Mark Zuckerberg got a haircut.
Wait, did he get a haircut?
No.
His
He
hair is
got the
different
broccoli
than his-
haircut.
You got a hair. I'm not mad anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
Here's another
amazing.
trick,
He did some
though.
jujitsu.
Compared to losing
Tim.
our sovereignty.
Mark, my phone number is 85. I'm kidding.
We were 2 votes away from losing our sovereignty. I mean, if not for Kristen Sinema and Joe Manchin, right, like we would have lost our rights essentially as U.S. citizens because it was just
for
going
what?
to. Just it would have been endless open borders in terms of having to show a voter ID when you vote.
Wait,
right?
they voted.
So they voted against it. They did not go along when the Democrats were trying to pass that bill. But if that's how close we were, to the end. And so this seems like very minor in comparison to where we were. And I feel like our memories. We have a very short.
That's a good point. We were 2 votes away from Democrats. It was banning voter ID, right? It was making it so that anybody could just.
Yeah,
just vote.
exactly. Anybody can just vote. Can just walk in there and just say they're.
That's largely how it is in Democrats.
I'm Tim Pool and I'm going to vote, and that would have been the end of our sovereign system as we know it.
Trump apparently wants a new census early. and they're talking about trying to push that through so they can get illegal immigrants off of these.
So they can take some seats away from California.
Yeah, Texas is trying to take away 5 Democrat seats. You see this?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So those are big victories that and further empower the U.S. citizen. I think closing the borders. I think there's a lot of wins that, we're kind of taking for granted. I think technology is just kind of going where it was going, regardless of who which political party was in power. So that's just my take on it. I think it's too early to declare it a loss or a win yet at this point to Trump's second.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.